Today, I've gathered 22 of the worst anime worlds to live in, and I'll be ranking if I could survive them or not. I have 5 tiers here. As you can see, it goes from I would be king, that means I'd be a king of this world. I'd live a good life, I'd live a normal life, I would barely survive, and I would die. So as you can see, the lower it goes, the worst situation I think I will have in the anime world. So starting off with Attack on Titan, probably one of the worst anime worlds to live in. Personally, if I live in that first wall, I'm pretty much done for. Like the Colossus Titan, I'm getting wrecked by the Armor Titan. You know, I'm gonna be like Aaron's Mana and I'm getting eaten alive. There's really nothing I can do unless I have like plot armor like Aaron. I'm probably not surviving. I doubt I make the boat. I would probably die if I live in the first wall. But let's say, just for hypothetical standpoint, I live in the second wall. You know, I get time to, prepare for the Titans. I'm probably most likely joining the Survey Corps because, like, I can't even imagine what would you do in the Attack on Titan besides joining the Survey Corps. What are you gonna be a bride maker? Like, there's literally nothing to do. So I'm probably joining the Survey Corps, and I'm becoming the Founding Titan. I don't care if Aaron has it. I'm finding a way to become the Founding Titan. I'm becoming the main character myself. But realistically, I'd barely survive. If I'm in the first wall, I'm most likely die. But let's just hypothetically say I live in the second wall. I think I'm barely surviving. I'm getting through. I'm barely surviving in the Attack on Titan world. Next up is Berserk. Now, Berserk is also a horrible world to live in because this is like back in the day, right? You have no doctors. Griffith is a menace. Pretty much everyone's just evil in Berserk. Like, there's not a single character that's like nice in Berserk, to put it simply. So pretty much, like, if I get sick, I'm done for. And me personally, I get sick very easily, so most likely I'm usually dying in Berserk. And if I'm part of Griffith's squad, GG's, I'm done for. Like, I'm part of Griffith's squad, I'm getting sacrificed like everyone else. I'm not like Guts, I'm not going to defeat everyone there. I'm probably most likely dead. I do not have plot armor, so I would die in Berserk. Next up is the Chainsaw Man world. Now, the Chainsaw Man world is a pretty interesting one because, like, the Chainsaw Man world is very much like the Jujutsu Kaisen world, but realistically speaking, there's, like, not really threats to me because, like, first off, like, all the big enemies, they have, like, a whole police force to defend, like, the regular people. So I think I'm living a normal life. I don't really see me, like, struggling in the Chainsaw Man world unless I get personally eaten by a devil and then I have to, like, deal with all that. But if I'm just like a normal person, how I am right now, and I get transported to the Chainsaw Man world, I don't think much is changing. Maybe just like more monsters I have to deal with. But personally, me, I think I'm living a normal life. I'm just gonna try to avoid all that. I'm not trying to be part of the group like where I'm killing all these devils. So I think I'm good in the Chainsaw Man world. Next up is the Naruto world. Now, the Naruto world is a world, it's pretty interesting. I don't think I'm going to be like a Hokage or anything. I don't think I'm going to be in that level because Naruto got it. Like, he has god level plot armor, he has the 9 tails, he's doing it all. Now it kind of just depends 3 ways. What type of time period am I living in the Naruto world? If I'm living before Naruto was born, where like all the tailed beasts are roaming around, I'm pretty much done for. I'm not living through like a 9 tails attacking the Leaf Village. I'm pretty much dead. And I'm definitely not living in the moderate times. Like, there was like constant war there. So most likely not living back then. But if I'm living like in the time period where Naruto is like the main character, I think I'm living a decent normal life. Like, I'm living a normal life. But after Naruto is Boruto. So if we're talking about the Boruto world, which is a continuation of the Naruto world, I think I would be a king because personally, I'm becoming like A-Train. I'm separating Hinata and Naruto from ever becoming a couple, and I'm stopping Boruto from ever existing. If I can stop Boruto from ever existing, we never get the Boruto show with Goblin Naruto and some of the worst animation I've ever seen. So as long as I get to destroy Boruto, I think I'm good. Next up is JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. Now, it really depends on what part I am in JoJo's. Spoilers for part 6, but, everyone dies in that part, so I would die if I'm in part 6, but in any other part, I'm probably living a normal life unless I have Hormone or a stand. Because if I have a stand, I could live a normal life. I can just avoid everyone else because I personally don't have any beef with Dio. I'm not going out to join the Stardust Crusaders to fight Dio because like half of the squad gets squad wiped. So I'm definitely not surviving that. It could be like a Kaku and an Avdog just getting murked. So I'm most likely not surviving JoJo's. But if I just lay low, I just use stands for my own benefit, I think I live a normal life because most people in like the JoJo's world don't even know stands exist. So I think I'm living a normal life in JoJo's. Now, next up is the Promised Neverland. Now, the Promised Neverland, I think I'm most likely surviving because I'd obviously be able to tell, like, we're living in a concentration camp. So, like, personally, me, I think I'm barely surviving. Obviously, I have to deal with all the monsters and stuff like that. But I'm most likely surviving. So, I don't think I'm really having that hard of a time. But, like, let's say if I'm born in Promised Neverland, I think I'm pretty much dead. Like, I'm, like, older than all of the characters. So, like, I'm getting eaten pretty soon. So, I think I'm dying if I get transported transported as a baby, but if I get transported like from right here, how old I am right now, to then, I'm surviving. Like, I'm obviously telling what's going on here, and I'm obviously could be very noticeable that this situation doesn't seem pretty right. Now, next up is Tokyo Ghoul. Now, Tokyo Ghoul, I think I'd live a normal life because you got to think about this, right? Most of the stuff that's happening in Tokyo Ghoul is only happening in Tokyo. So, I personally live in America. Maybe for people who watch me who live in Tokyo, which I don't know how many people watch me who live in Tokyo, but you know, people who live in Tokyo would have a trouble with this. But like, personally, I live in America. Maybe we might have some ghouls over here, but like, major stuff is happening in Tokyo, and like, I'd be fine. I'd be like, what's going on in Japan? But you know, most of the time, if there's like a ghoul in America, we're probably like gunning them down or something like that. We have AKs. But if I did live in Tokyo, it's a wrap for me. I'm pretty much dead. Like, pretty much, I think at the, like, season 3, like half of like the city gets destroyed. And you know, personally, I'm not built like Superman, so I'm not surviving a city getting destroyed. So I would die if I live in Tokyo, but since I don't, I think I'm living a normal life. Now, next up is Black Clover. Now, Black Clover, I think I'd live a good life just because magic would make it a little easier. I know like in Berserk, I wouldn't have like modern medicine for like sicknesses and all that, but like there's healing magic, so we can survive and stuff like that. And the only really thing I have to worry about in Black Clover is like the devils, but like I can let Axson, the Wizard King, and Yami handle all that type of stuff. So I think I'm living a good life in Black Clover. I don't really think I'm having too many issues in Black Clover. Next up is Hunter x Hunter. Now, Hunter x Hunter is not a world that I don't think I'd have a bad time living in, because if you can really think about it, like Meruem, like the big bad of Hunter x Hunter, like the big boss and the big enemy of Hunter x Hunter, half the world doesn't even know he exists. Like, Hisoka's like, oh yeah, that thing was going on. So like, pretty much like you can live your normal life because like you got like Gon and like Kilo are dealing with a big threat. So like most of the time you don't really have to worry about those big threats. So I think I'd live a normal life in Hunter x Hunter. Obviously I have to worry about like Meruem and all of them becoming like big threats and all that, but like I think you can live a normal life in Hunter x Hunter because like there's pretty much guys who can defeat like the big bats in the show. So I really don't think I have to really worry about anything in Hunter x Hunter. Next up is Death Note. Now, Death Note, I think so I'm gonna imagine that I have the Death Note, like replace me for Kira. I think I'd be king in this world because like if I have the Death Note, I'm not like trying to trace L or anything. Like, that's not my goal. Like, I can just write names in the Death Note and I'll live my life peacefully, right? I'll eliminate all the bad people. Pretty much a perfect world. The only reason Light gets caught is because he's actually chasing after L, and L even admits it that if he never finds the Death Note or never gets the hands on the Death Note or like never even gets hint to how the Death Note works, like realistically he can never solve the case because like he's not gonna like solve a case being like, oh yeah, gods exist if he has no proof of it. So realistically, if I never try catching L, he can never catch me because like he'll have no evidence to ever catch me because, you know, no one in the right mind will believe that Death Note exists. Now, next up is Blue Lock. Now, personally, I'm not like a Messi or Ronaldo. I'm not hitting a Sui or anything. So like, I'm barely surviving. The only reason to say I wouldn't die in this world, like hypothetically die in Blue Lock, is because like the monk guy got to like he's already at like the finals. Like he's still alive in the manga chapters. So if he's able to survive, I'd figure a way to at least get past the first round. So if that monk guy can survive, I can definitely survive. I don't have any soccer skills, but give me enough time, I'd learn how to get enough soccer skills to compete in Blue Lock. So I think if all I had to do was just professionally play Blue Lock, because that's pretty much what all I have to do, I think I can at least become like semi-decent. I at least think I can get past the first selection. Now, next up is One Piece. Now, personally, for me, I'm obviously gonna eat a devil fruit because, like, in One Piece, in my opinion, like, there's really no downside to not eating a devil fruit because, like, what? You can't swim? Like, who cares? Like, I don't even like the ocean. Like, I never even like going to the beach or anything like that. So, not being able to swim is not that big of a deal. And plus, like, what, half of the population doesn't know how to swim. So, like, I don't even know that the statistic is right or anything. I personally know how to swim, but I wouldn't mind losing the power to swim. Like, it's not even like that big of a deal in Piece. So like, I think I'd probably live a normal life because like I still have to deal with like, you know, all the annoying medicine, and you got like people like Kaido and all those people who can just like destroy a whole city. So I personally would not want my city to get destroyed. I'd probably just like live in like a small town or something like that, so I can avoid all these people. And plus, like, I'm not becoming the Power King because like Luffy has plot armor, and you know, Luffy's definitely becoming the Power King, and this is Luffy's story, and I will just be living in it. Now, next up is Evangelion. Spoilers for Evangelion, but I'm pretty much dead. There's nothing I can do in Evangelion. In the world of Evangelion, I'm dead. Like, there's nothing I can do. Pretty much everyone dies in Evangelion. It's a guarantee. The only two people who survive is, like, what? Shinji and Asuka. Unless, like, I find, like, a spaceship to send me to Mars, and pretty much not surviving from Mars. Like I probably like last a week before I run out of supplies, but pretty much unless I'm off of planet Earth, I'm dead in Evangelion. So pretty much if I was to transport into Evangelion, we're all dead. So pretty much straight out, we're all dead in Evangelion. Now, next up is Fire Force. Now, I've only seen Season 1 of Fire Force, so I don't know how dangerous the world is in the future for Fire Force. So, pretty much, Fire Force, like, pretty much, like, people can, like, turn into those fire monsters. And, you know, we obviously know that it's, like, pretty much, like, a group shoots them to become the fire monsters. But pretty much, I think I would live a semi-normal life. I'm not becoming like part of the fire force. Like I don't even want to become a firefighter in real life. I don't even want to become a cop in real life. So what would make me inclined to become a fire force member? Personally, no reason. So you know, I would just live a normal life. Like I just live in a small town. Like it seems like all these like people who are turning to flames are living in like the big cities, and if I live in a small town, which I pretty much already do live in a small town, that I would just like avoid all this chaos that's happening. Now, next up is Sword Art Online. Now, if we're talking about Sword Art Online, I think I would be a king. I didn't see Kirito beat Elden Ring. I didn't see him beat the Elden Ring boss. I didn't see him beat Sekiro. I didn't see him beat Jedi Fallen Order. I beat these games, and I don't think Kirito has ever beat Elden Ring. So I think I can justify myself in saying I would be king in this world. If I could beat Elden Ring, I could beat Sword Art Online. This is easy games. I would just like dodge and hit, you know, use rivers of blood. If I could beat Elden Ring, I could be any game, including Sword Art Online, so I would be a king in the Sword Art Online world. Next up is Dr. Stone. Now, Dr. Stone, it really comes down to two things. Do I get freed from the stone, or I'm just stuck in the stone? If I don't ever get stuck in the stone, I'm barely surviving, like, nothing really happening for me. But let's say I miraculously get freed, because I live in America, so I'd get frozen in America, and, like, I've only seen season 1 of Dr. Stone, so I don't even know if he ever comes to America and, like, frees everyone there, but I assume this is all taking place in Japan, because that's where Senku lives. So I'm most likely barely surviving. Like I don't know how to save myself if I got a disease. I cannot create medicine or create a light bulb what Senku's doing. He's like doing that possible, right? So pretty much I think I live up to like 50 because, you know, I'd obviously die of like, you know, just diseases and all that. I could hunt deer and like collect berries and maybe make a little shed, but pretty much like I'm barely surviving or I'm dying because someone could always just like knock me over as like one of the stones and I'm pretty much dead. So in my opinion, I think I'm barely surviving Dr. Stone because I'm no genius like Senku. Now, next up is the Bleach world. Now, the Bleach world, I actually think I'd be king. Because if I'm a Soul Reaper, from what I think I remember, Soul Reapers are immortal or they even live for like thousands of years. And if I live for thousands of years, how can you not be better than someone who's only been a Soul Reaper for like a couple years? Like, how is Renji not stronger than Ichigo? How is some of the captains not stronger than Ichigo? It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, you had thousands and thousands of years. This is literally your job. This is the only thing you do. And you get beaten by a teenager who's only been a Soul Reaper for what, like a year or 2 years? Like, personally, impossible. If that's all I have to do, I'd definitely be better than Renji, because, you know, Renji is just garbage. I don't think I've ever seen him win a fight, so I think I'd be a king in the Soul Reaper world. So, if I'm in the Soul Reaper Society, I'm becoming a captain. I don't care what anyone has to say. If I have thousands of years to train, I can definitely become a captain. Next up is the Demon Slayer world. So haven't read the manga. I've only seen season 1, season 2. So I don't know if they ever defeat Muzan. So let me just assume like I just have to live with demons for the whole entire of my life. Could I survive? I think I'd barely survive. Like, I'd just be like that shed guy from like episode 1, the one who just lives in the shed in the forest and he's like, oh, make sure not to go outside at night, and he tells him all the demons. Like, that's what I'm doing. I'm personally just like avoiding all the demons. Like, I'm just gonna live a normal life and all that. I'm not becoming like a demon slayer because I don't want to go through like that forest trial. Maybe I just like buy a sword from that blacksmith just for protection. But like personally, me, if I'm in the Demon Slayer world, I'm not trying to fight the top 10 ranked demons in the world. We've seen that Rengoku, even though he's like super strong, if you have no plot armor in that show, you're most likely dying. And personally, I don't think I have any plot armor to survive, so I'm most likely barely surviving in the Demon Slayer world. I'd probably get a sword for protection, but that's pretty much it. I'm not trying to become one of the Demon Slayers myself. Now, next up is No Game, No Life. Would I survive in No Game, No Life? Now, if you don't know what No Game, No Life is, it was pretty back popular in like 2018 when it first came out. But pretty much like it's an isekai where pretty much everything you do has to be played as a game. Whether it's a coin flip or it's like Call of Duty or it's some elaborate game, right? It's pretty much everything you do is a game. Now, personally, I consider myself a gamer. I played a lot of games in my life, and, you know, pretty much if I was in this world, I'll leave everything down to a coin flip, because you know that's what they like to do a lot in this show. They like to just live it up to a coin flip, and I like my odds. I played Genshin, I played some gacha games, and I think I have pretty good luck. I've won a lot of 50-50s in my life. So if I was in a no game no life, I think I'd be a god of luck when it comes to coin flips. You know, obviously I lose a couple, but I think majority, I think I'm 70% of the chance of winning a coin flip. You might say that's impossible, but with my luck, it's not. Now let me leave Dragon Ball Z for last. Let me talk about Cyberpunk first, because you know I probably have a lot more to say about Dragon Ball Z than I have to say with Cyberpunk. But pretty much for Cyberpunk, I think it's pretty much like our normal life. Pretty much like in Cyberpunk, obviously like the government's corrupt and like they have a little more AI, but like we already have a corrupt government, but we get more advanced technology. Sounds like a win to me. So I personally think I would live a pretty good life in Cyberpunk, because you know we already have a corrupt government, but we have better cybernetics, and I can activate Sandevistan and like run super fast and like have a rocket launcher as an arm. Sounds pretty good to me. So I think I'm living a good life in Cyberpunk. Now last up is Dragon Ball Z. Now Dragon Ball Z is pretty much a difficult one, because obviously you have Goku protecting the Earth and all the Z fighters, but you also have like every character in Dragon Ball Z is like could destroy the world at any point in time. Like Raditz can destroy the Earth. Like pretty much anyone can destroy the Earth at this point in Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super as well. So pretty much we at least have Goku to protect the Earth. But like if Beerus ever decided to be like, you know, I'm tired of the Earth, he could just destroy it. So pretty much I think I'd barely be surviving, just because like at any point any of the villains could be like, you know what, let me just destroy the Earth, and like really no one realistically can stop him except for Goku. Maybe like Goku just decides he wants to take a nap that day, and you know Frieza blows up the planet. You know, pretty much my life could be ended just because Frieza felt like it and Goku was asleep. Now that's personally my list of the anime worlds I think I could survive in, but you know I'm built different from you guys, and maybe you guys are built different from me. So leave down in the comments what worlds you guys could personally think you could survive in, and what other anime worlds that you think would be like pretty much impossible to survive in. So let me know down that in the comments below, and make sure to hit the like button and subscribe, because I have more videos like this coming out in the future, and I also have some other videos out already that are very similar to like this. So if you like this video, go check that out. But I'll see you guys next time. Later, hater. Peace.